The last class, we have derived the condition for phase matching. And in this class, we'll discuss details of the phase matching. So we'll just recall what we have discussed in the last class. Okay, so in the last class, we have found that the intensity of the sum frequency generation, which is omega 3. Okay, so if you have two incident frequency, omega 1 and omega 2 on a nonlinear crystal, or with second order susceptibility, second order polarization, then it is possible to get the sum frequency, which is omega 3, that is equal to omega 1 plus omega 2. So the intensity of this omega 3, the sum frequency, is proportional to the intensity of the incident lights, that's I1 and I2, and the square of length of this crystal. And then it is also proportional to the sinc function of delta KL by 2. And now if you plot this sine function, you can get this kind of graph. And so therefore this I3 would be maximum. The intensity of omega 3 would be maximum when delta K equal to 0. So this is what is called the phase matching condition, or K1 plus K2 minus K3 equal to 0. Okay, so this is called the phase matching condition. Okay, now it is possible to rewrite this phase matching condition in terms of the refractive indices. So we can write it as N1 omega 1 plus N2 omega 2 minus N3 omega 3 equal 0. So how are we writing this? Because this wave vector K is nothing but omega by V, and V is C by N. So this become N omega by C. So N is a refractive index corresponding to the omega frequency. So the K1 we can write N1 omega 1 by C. In K2 similarly N2 omega 2 by C, then K3. And C is common, so C can be cancelled, and hence we can write this equation. Or we can write it as N1 omega 1 plus N2 omega 2 equal to N3 omega 3. So the first thing what we'll do is we'll check whether this condition, is it possible to achieve this condition. So that is a question we are asking. Okay, so is it possible achieve this phase matching condition? So for that, in order to check this, we have to do some algebra. Okay, so what we can do is we can write the N3 first in terms of N1 and N2. So the phase matching condition we can rewrite as N3 can be written as N1 omega 1 plus N2 omega 2 all divided by omega 3. So this is nothing but the same equation. So only I just take a omega 3 to the left side into the denominator. Okay. Now just subtract N2 on both sides. So N3 minus N2, that would become N1 omega 1 plus N2 omega 2 divided by omega 3 minus N2. Now, if you take LCM, so we have to multiply omega 3 here. So omega 3 upon omega 3. So denominators are same, omega 3. So we can find N1 omega 1 plus N2 omega 2 minus N2 omega 3. Now what is omega 3? Omega 3 is nothing but omega 1 plus omega 2. So hence this become N1 omega 1 plus N2 omega 2 minus N2 omega 1 minus n2 omega 2 all divided by omega 3. So here n2 omega 2 cancels. And what will you get? N1 omega 1 minus N2 omega 1 by omega 3. So that can be written as N1 minus N2 divided by omega 1 by omega 3. So the phase matching condition we can write in another way like this. N3 minus N2 equal to N1 minus N2 multiplied by omega 1 by omega 3. So this is nothing but delta K equal to 0, the phase matching condition. Now again, the question is it possible to achieve this condition? So first we can start with the material, the nonlinear crystal with a normal dispersion. So consider nonlinear crystal with normal dispersion. So what is meant by normal dispersion? So dispersion means the change in refractive index of the material with the frequency. So normal dispersion means usually what happens is the refractive index increases with increasing frequency. So normal dispersion means the refractive index is proportional to frequency. Okay, so it's a function of frequency. Okay, so we cannot directly write it is proportional to frequency. What we can tell is the refractive index increases with frequency. Okay, it need not be linear to omega. Okay, now the process that we are considering is the some frequency generation. So we have omega 1, omega 2 that added, we are getting omega 3. So let us assume the omega 1 is the smallest frequency. So the omega 1 would be lesser than omega 2. Now obviously omega 3 should be greater than both omega 1 and omega 2. Okay, so in case of some frequencies and generation, omega 1 less than omega 2 less than omega 3. So this is the assumption that we're making. The assumption is only in the first condition. The third condition is always correct. The second condition is always correct. That is omega 3 must be greater than both omega 1 and omega 2 because omega 3 is omega 1 plus omega 2. Now, in case of second harmonic generation, omega 1 and omega 2 may be equal. So we can write this omega 1 less than or equal to omega 2 less than omega 3. So this is the case. Okay, let us assume this is the way of the range of frequencies. Then for normal dispersion, this implies that the refractive index corresponding to the omega 1 should be less than or equal to the refractive index corresponding to the omega 2, and that should be less than the refractive index corresponding to the omega 3. Okay, so I think this is convincing to you, everyone. Now, if we can just analyze our equation. So the phase matching condition. So this is our phase matching condition. We can just analyze our phase matching condition. So if you look at the left hand side of the phase matching condition, this is N3 minus N2. Now N3 must be greater than N2. So therefore N3 minus N2 must be positive. So the phase matching condition, the left side of the LHS of this equation. So we can put some number for equations. So we can start with left. Okay, so this is the first phase matching condition. So that we can put as equation number 1. And this can be put as equation number 2. And this condition equation number 3. So actually 1, 2, 3 are same. So the LHS of equation number 3 is positive. Okay, now we can check the right hand side. Omega 1 by omega 3 must be positive. What about n1 minus n2? So n1 should be less than n2. So therefore n1 minus n2 must be negative. So that is very surprising. The RHS must be negative. The RHS of equation number 3 is negative. So that means equation number 3 is not possible. We cannot, it cannot be satisfied. The one side is positive and other side is negative. That is not possible. Okay, so we'll not get any solution for the phase matching condition. That means the phase matching condition is not possible in case of material with the normal dispersion. So that is the takeaway. Okay, so we can, inference of this condition is it is not possible to satisfy the phase matching condition for such kind of material with a normal dispersion. Okay, so phase matching is not possible for material with normal dispersion. Okay, so this is the very surprising result for us, because we have already discussed the many phenomena, the nonlinear phenomena in detail, like second harmonic generation, third harmonic generation, even the sum frequency generation, and so on. And we have also discussed their practical applications and so on. But now we are saying that it is not possible to achieve the phase matching conditions. So then how practically they are producing, the experimentalists are producing the second harmonic, then that is the question. Is how to achieve this kind of phase matching condition. So there are ways to achieve the phase matching conditions. There are two different ways. So one is to use a material which shows the anomalous dispersion. That is the one way. And the another way is use the material which shows double refraction, or it's known as birefringes. Okay, so what are the possible ways? So our next question is, what are the possible ways to achieve phase matching condition? Okay, the first way is use a material with anomalous dispersion. And second is we can use material with birefringes. The birefringes is also known as double refraction. Okay, so what is meant by anomalous dispersion? So anomalous dispersion means the refractive index started reducing, its refractive index will decrease at high frequency. So anomalous dispersion means a decrease of refractive index at a high frequency. So if the refractive index reduced at a high frequency, then it is possible to achieve this condition. Okay, so you can copy this to next page. Okay, now the N3 is the frequency of omega 3. Now if N3 is lesser than N2, what would happen is N3 minus N2 would become negative and N1 minus N2 would become negative. This would be valid. So if you have anomalous dispersion, then it is possible to achieve this phase matching condition, because at high frequency we'll be having the lesser refractive index. So the N3 would be smaller, compared to N1 and N2. So this is the one way of the one simplest way of achieve the phase matching condition. But even though the theoretically it is simple, but experimentally again it is a difficult task. The anomalous dispersion is also a difficult task. Now the other way is birefringence or double refraction. So in order to understand how we can achieve the phase matching condition using double refraction, first of all we should revise what is meant by double refraction. So we can just revise what is the double refraction phenomena. So usually, if you incident light to a material, we will get a single refracted ray. But in the case of double refraction, we'll get two refracted rays. So there is a difference. So if you take any double refracting crystal and you incident some ray, you will be getting two rays instead of one. Okay. Now, suppose the incident ray has both polarization, then these two rays, each ray would be plane polarized. So one contains only dot, the other contains only arrow. Now these rays will call, one of the ray will be known as ordinary ray, will be denoted as OR ray, and the other ray will be denoted as the extraordinary ray. So the ray which satisfies the normal Snell's law is called ordinary ray, and the other one is called the extraordinary ray. Okay. Now the main thing is the refractive index of ordinary and extraordinary would be different, and their polarization would be orthogonal. Okay. So the ordinary ray and extraordinary ray are polarized in mutually perpendicular direction. Okay. And they will have different refractive indexes. They will have different refractive index. So this is the what is called the double refraction. The refractive index of the ordinary ray we can denote by symbol NO, and the refractive index of extraordinary we can denote by symbol NE. So depending upon which is greater and which is lesser, we'll classify the double refracting crystal into two types. One is called positive crystal, and the other one is called negative crystal. So the crystal is said to be positive. A crystal is said to be a positive crystal if the speed of ordinary is greater than the speed of extraordinary ray. Okay, in terms of refractive index, the refractive index of ordinary, if it is less than the refractive index of extraordinary. And a crystal said to be negative if the ordinary speed, the speed of ordinary is less than the speed of extraordinary. And again, in terms of refractive index, the refractive index of ordinary is greater than the refractive index of extraordinary. So this is by definition what is meant by the positive crystal and negative crystal. And again, this the positive crystal and negative crystal refractive indices, the ordinary and extraordinary refractive indices will vary with frequency, so that we can plot using a graph. So in the case of double refraction, suppose the left side, the vertical is refractive index, and the horizontal is frequency. Okay. So in case of ordinary ray, sorry. Okay, first we can discuss about positive crystal. So in case of positive crystal, the refractive index of ordinary should be the refractive index of extraordinary. So here, the upper one would be the refractive index of Ne. The lower one represent the refractive index of ordinary. Okay, and similarly, we can draw the variation refractive index for negative crystal as well. So it will follow the same structure. But in case of negative crystal, the extraordinary refractive index would be greater. Sorry, the ordinary refractive index would be greater. So these are our definition of the positive and negative crystals. Okay. Now, so then how we can use this double refraction in order to achieve our this condition, the phase matching condition. So again, we can recall our phase matching condition. So this is our phase matching condition. Okay, so how to achieve the phase matching condition using double refraction? That is a question.